Welcome, students. Namaste. Hello, yogis. How are you doing? How are you sitting? How are you standing? How is your posture? Okay, posture. Wow, so important. Posture literally is how our body rests anatomically and whether it is aligned properly, that our bones and our structure can support the weight of our body. And generally, we have this natural curve in our spine. It makes an S. There's a lordosis in our lumbar spine, and then we move into our thoracic spine. It bends the opposite direction, and then again, it bends back in our cervical spine. And our spine is kind of like a spring. It absorbs the shock and the action, but bones are supported by muscles, and they're supported by fascia, definitely a connective tissue that runs throughout our entire body. But depending on what we do, if we sit a lot, or we stand a lot, or we might be construction workers that are really hard on our body or do something very physical, the muscles can strengthen and become weak in ways that shifts our spine out of its neutral anatomical position, causing our hips to tilt, either anteriorly or posteriorly. So anterior would be hips shifting back, posterior would be hips shifting forward, and there's a great place somewhere in between where we have good posture. Now, good posture doesn't only happen from the hips, it also happens from the shoulders all the way down to the feet and where we put our neck. Another big thing that posture is, excuse me, happening is a lot of this. Deep, 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 on my phone for hours. So that can help to crane your neck forward. And it's important to rock your neck back and do some counter stretches. I too have a cell phone. I'm sorry if that was an offensive statement. I too have a cell phone and look down at my cell phone. You know what else I do that I think about? I read. And when I read, I look down. So as human beings, as individuals who do things in front of them, we tend to lower our neck down, whether it's reading our textbooks for school or reading personal books for fun, looking at our phone for whatever the variety of uses that this phone may bring. That's not the point. The point is our habitual actions over time can influence the shape of our body and affect our posture. So the intention for today is to become familiar with our posture and to perform exercises that move us from the anterior to the posterior pelvic tilt. Now, little did we know, cat and cow is an anterior to posterior shift, moving through that neutral, anatomical, good posture where our hips are aligned and our spine can make that beautiful S-shaped curve. Cat and cow. That is one reason why I think they are so important to do just about every class in some way, shape, or form, whether it's kneeling or it's standing or in some way. And so the idea today is to do a lot of cat and cows in various positions so we get attuned to where our hips are in space. And if we can focus on our hips, then out of that, with our hips in a neutral position, a good posture, then out of that our spine can sit naturally and our shoulders will roll back and we'll have head to toe full body posture. Sound good? Okay, perfect. Let's cross our legs from all that speaking. As always, let's begin with 3 breaths to mark the transition from our day into good posture, to learning about posture, to examining posture, exploring, awareness, consciousness, mindfulness. These are the buzzwords that I love. They're my favorites. And they're powerful words, really. Whoa, awareness, consciousness, mindfulness. What if we walked through the world with all of these tuned up and turned on? Think how much more kinder, less reactive, more open and giving and forgiving we could all be of ourselves and each other. It's the utopia world, but it doesn't have to be a far off distant dream. It could literally be paradise on earth. It's the approach that we have to how we live in the world. Okay, very good. Let's close our eyes. Sit up nice and tall. You may have support underneath your hips or be sitting on a chair. And the reason we do that is to support our posture, to find a neutral spine, to utilize the artistic beauty that nature has instilled in us, all the way down to the shape of our spine, the interlocking vertebra that make up the backbone, the literal backbone, the actual backbone of our body. So I'll take a nice deep breath in. Big sigh, let it go. Deep breath in. Big sigh, let it go. Deep breath in. And a big sigh, let it go. Sit still and breathe. Natural breath. Let's be here for about 10 breaths. Deep breath in. And let it go. Let's bring our hands together in recognition and acknowledgement of our intention this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening. Posture. Namaste. Okay, very good. Let's begin in cat-cow, and then we will move to deciphering and understanding the movement. Hands underneath of shoulders, plants, knees underneath of hips. Arch your back. Sacrum goes up towards your shoulders, shoulders down towards your sacrum, long through your front body, cow pose. A few breaths through here, so we're not going breath to breath, really feeling in. And then sacrum moves away from your shoulders. Tailbone tucks under, back rounds. Excellent. Cow pose. Shoulders away from ears. There's an arch in your back. The hip bones move away from your ribs. And then round. Hip bones towards your ribs. Cat pose. Long spine. Inhale. Your spine shortens as we really activate that lower lumbar curve. Exhale. We remove that curve, and our spine grows long. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana.
Go ahead and pedal and push. Your hips go side to side. Down dog. Straighten your legs. Excuse me, straighten your legs. And you might notice that you come forward in your back rounds. We're in a posterior pelvic tilt. Bend your knees. Your heart can go closer to your thighs. And from there, your hips go back and we move into an anterior pelvic tilt. Legs straighten. Posterior, it kind of moves us in towards plank a little bit. We're not fully in plank. Knees bend. Anterior. Good. Step your feet up to your hands. Spread your toes, halfway lift. Hands to shins. And then exhale, let's waterfall our upper body over our lower body. Let the weight of your head drop down. And then go ahead and sway from left to right. Find a little bit of length. Relax your neck. And breathe. Good. Unroll all the way up. Hands sweep up. Big stretch up. And then hands to heart center. Excellent. Let's take our hands to our shins. Lego man C grip right over your thighs. Very good. Feet can step out a little bit wider. Standing cat-cow. As you bend your knees, stick your tailbone out behind. Your sacrum gets closer to your shoulders. Anterior pelvic tilts. And then your hip bones and your ribs, watch this, get closer. Notice, further, my fingers are further away on my ribs, on my hip bones, and then round, my fingers get closer. And my spine gets long. Posterior pelvic tilts. Inhale, standing cow pose, anterior pelvic tilts. Exhale, round, standing cat pose, posterior pelvic tilt. Excuse me. Okay, let me show you with my fingers. Now, inhale, my hips go up, my sacrum goes up, my hips go down and back, anterior tilt, and then they switch directions. Spine grows long, posterior pelvic tilts. Very nice. Let's sweep our arms all the way up to the sky. Inhale, exhale, dive, forward folds. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale. Plant your hands, fingertips down, palms down, feet step back. Good. In our plank, we're lifted up and we're round in our back. Posterior pelvic tilt. It does not look like this with the anterior. Back is round, sacrum away, spine long. Good. Knees down, forward and lower, hips to the floor. Shoulder blades together, heart lifts up, hips press down, back bend, inhale, exhale, and reverse. So let's think about this. Back bends and reverse. Is this anterior or posterior? It's a little funky because our shoulders are leaning back, but if you think about it, we're not hips back, we're hips forward, and from there, that's a posterior tilt. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, pedal push your feet out, left, right. Let the weight of your head drop down. Good. Lots of little steps as your feet make their way all the way up to the front. Hands to shins, half lift, inhale. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, rise, hands come all the way up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Very, very good. Let's bring our hands, we can find that C grip, onto our hips, little bend in knees, and then work that here. Anterior, back bend, posterior, spine long. Anterior, back bend, posterior, spine long. Hips back, hips forward, all the way up, inhale. Exhale, dive, forward fold. Halfway lift with your hands to your shins, inhale, breath. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands down, step your feet back. Plank pose, posterior pelvic tilt, forward down, chaturanga. Inhale, back bends. Exhale, over knees and toes, downward facing dog. Pedals and pushes, very nice. Let's go right leg up to the sky. Inhale, 3 points of contact. Find that length, shoulders are square, and then right knee to nose, step right foot forward, help it get up there if you need. Left knee goes down. Low lunge. Can pat our left knee if we want. Hands come up. Very, very good. Let's thread our fingers together. Bring your hands to your right thigh, and then lean forward. Right knee travels forward, and I think you will find a lot of stretch across the front of your left hip flexor. Settle in, steady in, breathe deep. Very nice. Now press into your right foot, hands come up, and lean back. A little bit of a gentle back bend arc. Very nice. Hands to your waistline. We can think about the pelvic tilt here. Anterior, posterior. Anterior. So now what I expect happens is we have less intensity in our left hip flexor. Posterior pelvic tilt. Whoa, left hip flexor, maybe even left quad. Anterior, posterior. Keep the posterior tilt. Hands to your right thigh again, and now lean forward. And you probably can't lean as far forward, but you have engaged and really turned on, because instead of leaning forward and moving into an anterior tilt and compensating, we've now activated our posterior tilt. And if we keep that engaged as we lean forward, we change the experience of the yoga posture. We have targeted where the stretch is now going through an alignment adjustment. How cool is that? Very nice. Let's keep the posterior. So arch back is out, hands up. And then from here, right hand to your right thigh, core strong, tail slightly tucked, posterior tilt. Reach your left arm up and over to the right side, and I believe you will feel lots of strength in your left side body. And that's good. That's awesome. Breathe into it. Hinge forward, left hand finds the floor. Core strong, twist over to the right. Right hand can go up to the sky. Option, you can lean forward into your right foot, pick up your left knee to take it one step deeper. Twisted lunge. Lots of breath. Root down into your right foot. Let's float hands up. Crescent lunge. Very good. Same action in our crescent lunge. We can bring our hands to our hips. Little bend in both knees. This will be a test of balance also, that's okay. Arch back, sway back. So we can see how we can really take ourselves out of these stretches by moving into our low back. That can cause a lot of strain and low back pain. It can also cause our hip flexors to lose strength, and it creates a strength imbalance. Now, posterior tilt, spine long. Again, we're in our left hip flexor. Hip square, energy through your left heel. Now we've taken this posture that we know and we have changed it. We have activated it. Very nice. Hands up, crescent lunge. Deep breath in. And a big sigh. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Lean forward. Step your left foot to meet your right. Now, bend your knees. Anterior pelvic tilt. Take your hips back. Activate your core. Lift your heart up. Hands go up. Chair pose. Good. Lots of length through both sides of your body. Full extension through your arms. Deep breath in. Exhale. Dive forward fold. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips down, feet step back, downward facing dog. Step into your posture, fingers spread, heart melts, head drops, toes down, hips lift, full extension, really, really good. Okay, let's go left leg up to the sky, 3 points. Very nice. Left foot steps forward,
Help it all the way to the front as necessary. Right knee down. Rise up, low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Hip square to the front. Okay. Hands thread to your left knee, and then just see how far forward you can go. Without the activation, without thinking anything about tilt, we just lean forward. Very good. So you can see here my knee goes way forward. I do have the anterior pelvic tilt though. It just happens naturally. I move into that natural curve of my spine. Now let's come up, hands up. Think about your heart lifted up into a back bend, arms up and over. Yes. Breathe. Okay, from here you might be feeling that in your right hip flexor. Let's sweep our arms down, hands to hips. Cow pose, cat pose. And if you keep going with your cat pose, I do think you will get into your right hip flexor, right quadriceps. Quads are big, strong muscles. They're hard to stretch. We have to be very, very particular about the way we do. Okay. Anterior cow pose, posterior cat pose. One more time. Anterior, posterior. Keep that. So keep the spine long, the arch out, hands to your left thigh, and then lean forward. And notice I can't go near as far forward before getting into the stretch into my right hip flexor, and that's so good. Breathe. 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 Very nice, friends. Let's bring it back. Big stretch up with your hands. Keep the spine long. If you've lost it, left hand goes down the left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over. Side body stretch. Feel the length through your right side body. And right now with the posterior tilt, I feel a stretch from my knee to quads, across my hip, through my right side body, into my shoulder, all the way through my right arm. Wow, so much is happening. And I'm kneeling on one leg with my hand over to the side, but it's active. Okay, lots of explanation. Let's not forget to breathe. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Hinge forward. Right palm plants. Twist over to the left. Right arm super strong. Left arm goes up, and you can lean forward. Pick your right knee up. Very good. Twisted lunge. Breathe. Left hand to the ground. You might need to adjust your feet. Bend both knees. Root down left foot. Rise hands high. Crescent. Hands to hips. Anterior tilt. Now notice I can straighten my leg and my back bends. Bend knee. Find that tilt. You're thinking navel to spine. Now right leg straight. Can't go as straight, but all of a sudden, whoa, right hip flexor. I feel it. Hands up, inhale. Big sigh. Deep breath in. Let it go. Start to shift weight forward. Our spine shifts naturally as we step into a chair pose. Hips back, knees back. Heart lifts, arms up and overhead. Lots of breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips down. Step your knees back. Step your knees all the way back. Hands to the front, knees to the back. I'm real stretched out. So it's that cow-shaped arch, anterior tilts through spine, and then lean back. You might bring a block for your forehead down, or forehead may go all the way down to the floor, and we're stretching nice and long. See if you can, I'll keep demoing, while you're in this shape, accentuate the anterior pelvic tilt. And as you do that, your heart melts closer to the floor and it goes deeper into your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. Okay, let's breathe. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Deep breath in.
Big sigh. Very nice. Let's start to make our way out. I imagine that was pretty deep in your shoulders. Big toes touch, knees go wide, hips back or hips forward, or your version, child's pose. Settle down, settle in, take a rest. These were all familiar movements, but with a new light. It's like we upgraded from the 100 lumen headlamp to the 1500 lumen. All of a sudden, whoa, we can see so much more. We're looking at the same thing, but it's brighter. And we can see more. We have increased, we have expanded our awareness, developed our consciousness, and applied anatomical knowledge into our yoga practice. And from there, it's helping us to move a little bit deeper. Very nice. Let's make our way up. Hands forward, toes tuck, downward facing dog. Little bend in knees, find that anterior tilt. You support your lower lumbar spine. Let the weight of your head drop down. Toes can spread, heart melts towards your thighs. Let's bend deeply, look forward, step, step, maybe a couple steps. Hands to your shins, half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Shift weight over into your left foot. Pick your right knee up. Standing march. All right, this is a hip flexor strengthener. So if you need a little bit of support and balance at the wall, you're welcome to do that. If you want to keep this in the middle of your room, do that. Start to straighten your right leg. Point your right toes. There's extension through your right ankle, extension through your left knee, and then extend your leg all the way and lift it up. This is very, very hard, very challenging. It requires a lot of hip flexor strength. Bend right knee, set it down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Shift weight over into your right foot. Left knee lifts. Very good. Standing march. If you need balance at the wall, that's okay. Extend through left leg. And float left foot up. Whoop, whoop. Root down right foot. If you touch the wall, then the wall wants you to use it for balance. Okay, good. Nice, easy. Breathe, bend left knee. Feet down, hands up, inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Good. Spread your toes. And go hands to blocker, hands to the floor. Lean forward. Feel the weight in your tippy toes. And then here, we are activating our core, spine long. So there is a posterior tilt in the forward fold. Breathe. 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 Very nice. Bend your knees. Now we go the other way as our hips go back and our heart lifts up. Chair pose. Utkatasana. Toes are spread. Feet are as wide as your hips. Anterior pelvic tilt. Active in your core. Shoulders lean back. Arms straight. Hands up and overhead. Very strong. Very powerful. Very challenging. One more deep breath in, sink a little bit lower, and then exhale, dive forward, fold. So good. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, let's plant our hands, step feet back, plank pose, forward down, chaturanga, shoulders together, feet down, inhale, back bends, lift up back, downward facing dog. Some standing postures. Right leg goes up to the sky. Bend right knee, turn, stack, scorpion dog, arms strong. A little tickle in my throat today. Arms strong, arms straight, left heel down. Good, right knee to nose, step. right foot forward. Root down, rise up, crescent lunge. Notice you can find the anterior, core activates, posterior, we find it into our left hip flexor. Shift your weight forward, open up, warrior two. Same thing in warrior two. Common thing I see is students have a nice big sway back, anterior tilts. Activate your core, posterior tilts, bring your hips in line with your shoulders, and then bend your right knee forward. Show you from this direction. Big anterior tilts, hips in line. Now, I don't feel it so much in my midsection. This actually pinches my low back a little bit to do this. I bring it in. Now I'm in the strength of my front leg, and that's really, really good. Same thing, let's scoot our left foot in. When we straighten our right leg, instead of leaning forward and dipping to the side, this is all anterior tilts. I'm back, posterior tilts, reach forward and tip. Now I can't go as far, right? I can touch the floor here. I can't here. But this alignment supports a deeper opening across my chest and across my legs. I feel the weight distributed into my feet, and it feels like a healthier posture in my body, even though it's not going quite near as deep. Bend right knee, float reverse, left hand down, core strong. So same thing, we want to activate anterior pelvic tilts. Remove anterior, activate posterior, right arm reaches up and over. And then right forearm to right thigh, left arm up and over, extended side angle. Again, easy tendency is to go hips back, posterior tilts, left arm reaches right up and over. Breathe. Breathe. A lot to think about. I know you're doing great. Left hand sweeps down in front. Pivot right foot. Parallel your feet. Walk hands forward. Heart lifts up. So we're moving to that more natural spine, even into a bit of an anterior pelvic tilt. Just need 2 cameras on me so you can see from both directions. These really need to be demoed in lots of ways. Okay, even a little bit up. And then from here, you keep the strength and the length in your legs, and then we start to move into a posterior tilt as we hinge forward folds. Let the weight of your head drop down. Breathe. 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 So good. Halfway lift. Here's a favorite stretch of mine. Heels go in, toes go out. Your hips go back. You find that length. Anterior tilt again. Heart melts down. Little bounces up and down. It's like you're a leapfrog ready to just spring at any moment. But the lower that you go with your hips, the deeper you get into your hip flexors. We can even bring this a little bit left, right, side to side. And it's just, it's great movement. In ways, I don't know about you, but I don't usually hang out like this or do this any other time other than when I'm practicing yoga. Good. Let's walk our hands around to the front. Drop your left knee down. Scoot your right foot over. Lizard lunge. Come up nice and high through your heart. Left knee, left toes down, right foot off the yoga mat, right knee, right toes towards about 2 o'clock. We can move out of this curve, anterior, into posterior as we go forward with our hips, our hip flexors open. We might be able to lower down forearms to block, maybe forearms to the mat. I'll show this one again. So because I can get here, my right elbow is not really on the ground. My back is super rounded. It takes me out of the posture. It's not the ideal alignment, even though I can get my forearms down, right? Ego says,
Put your forearms on the ground and be the most flexible because you're the yoga teacher. But consciousness says, who cares how flexible you are? Be as flexible as you are and love what you have and work with that. Ego doesn't help us optimize. Awareness does. And that's what I want to do. I want to optimize. I want you to feel so good for being you exactly the way that you are that you don't need to change anything. You don't need to be any different, although we can work towards being our best version. We get very philosophical when we go down this line. We can have this conversation. I'm happy to have a cup of tea. Actually, I prefer coffee. It's maybe why I'm really, really excited today. But you're great. Just the way that you are. Okay. From our lizard lunge, go ahead and walk your right foot all the way over to the left side. Drop knees down. Deer pose. Flex your ankles. Twist over your right leg. Lower down onto forearms and hinge forward folds. Very nice. Find your breath. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Breathe. Okay, let's come up. All right. Pigeon posture. You can extend your right ankle. Now, if this creates any pain, so deer pose is a progression to pigeon pose. Give this a try, but if it hurts, you just come back down to deer pose. I'm going to lift my right hip up, extend my left leg back, and then square my hips over my right leg. Good. I will show you from the front in case you're wondering what this looks like. Deer pose. I lifted my hips up and scooted my left leg back. Pigeon pose. Now, my right foot is bent. My right heel is over by my left hip. My right knee is forward. The further you bring your right leg out, the deeper this goes, and the more you bring your right leg in, the less intense this is. We're not going for intensity. We're going for setting ourselves up for a nice posture. So we can lift up through our heart. We have an anterior pelvic tilt. Walk hands forward. Sleepy pigeon. Forearms down. Relax the weight of your head. And then our spine starts to grow long, more towards that neutral spine or even into posterior tilt. I really want the stretch to be in my right glutes or my right quads, my right iliotibial bands, IT bands, somewhere along there. No right knee pain. If it is in your knee, you are not going to stretch it out into a place that feels good. You are only going to hurt yourself. So no right knee pain. If there's right knee pain, back off or lower hip down and take the weight off altogether. If this feels good, you can go forearms wide, forehead to the mat. This really turns it up into a deep stretch. Keep breathing. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Inhale, let's come up. So you're going to inch your left knee forward. Here, let me show you here. Inch your left knee forward. Scoot your right leg out. Tabletop position, right leg extends. Oh, sweet extension. That is nice. Bend right knee. Press your foot up, anterior tilt. Right knee in towards your nose. Posterior tilt. Anterior. Posterior. We've taken our cat-cow and we've leveled it up just slightly. Knees go wide, big toes touch. Child's pose. Deep breath in. Big sigh. But wait, there's more. there's an entire second side that we can balance. Okay, let's do it, friends. Hands forward, toes tuck, heart melts, downward facing dog. Anterior tilt, hips up to the sky, heart melts to your thighs. Let's float our left leg up 3 points. Bend left knee, turn, stack left hip. Arm strong, arm straight. Left knee into nose, step. Left foot forward, root. Left foot down, float. Hands high and up and overhead. Posterior tilt, core strong, spine long. Find it into your right hip flexor. Very, very good. Are we having fun? I'm having a great time. I hope that you love this class because it's really enjoyable on my end. Okay, cool. Lean forward, root down left foot, pivot back foot, warrior two. Now check out. If you have a mirror in front of you, that can be really nice. Are your hips back? You can even look down and be like, oh, my hips are back. You can go fingertip to belly, fingertip to waistline. Bring your hips in, crunch your ribs in. Excellent. Warrior two with a long spine, posterior tilt. So good. Really, really good. Walk your right foot in, left leg to straight. Now that can also take us here. Okay, we're back, core strong. Reach, 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 reach. And then tip. Left hand goes down and right arm goes up. Triangle pose. Utthita Trikonasana. Find your breath. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Really nice. Bend your knee. Reverse warrior. Right hand goes down. Again, keep your hips. Our hips can move. There's a lot of movement that we've got here. Core strong. Left knee bent. Spine long. Posterior tilt. Right hand down. Left arm up and over. So good. Breathe. Left forearm finds our left thigh. Right arm comes up and over. Again, let's try and keep it out of our low back, into the strength of our legs. Right shoulder rolls open. Yes. So good. Breathe. Sweep your right arm down. Pivot left foot 90. Feet parallel. Walk your hands slightly forward. You can place a little bend in knees. Option to go hands clasp, hands up and over, and then to legs straight. Breathe. If the bind of your hands up and overhead behind you doesn't feel good, hands to your mat for support. So many options, lots of things happening. Breathe, lots of breath. Very nice. Okay, let's pivot. Hands to the front. Right knee goes down. Left foot heel toes over to the left side. Left toes and knee towards about 10 o'clock. You might be bound up here. You can walk your right knee back. Let's start lifted. Heart up. That way we can go hips forward down. And you can adjust your posture, your body location, your position into this type of a shape. Very nice. Now we have the options to move to hands, hands to step out wide, forearms to our blocker, forearms to the floor. Lizard lunge, wherever you are, breathe deep. Really nice, friends. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Let's come up. Start to rise into deer pose. So your left hand can go outside. You'll heel toe, scoot, 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 scoot. That foot all the way over. Reach wide left, lower hips down, bend knees, deer posture, deer pose. Heart lifts up, square over towards the front. So then we can walk hands forward, Now, this might be like, whoa, I'm in there, and that's great. If you want to move down to forearms, you can do that. You can go elbows wide and start to hinge. Breathe. So interesting how we make these yoga postures one size fits all. And in a sense, they are, and in a sense, they are not. One pose, deer pose, that is not one size fits all because it looks different for everybody, but is one size fits all because it's different for everybody. We can still be in somewhat of the same shape, but with our own adjustments to find our own optimal alignment. And it is from that place where we are united. Yoga. To yoke. To unite. Union. The word yoga literally translates to union. How cool is that? Let's lift up through our heart. Okay, we can bring our left heel in towards our right knee and then rock over. Hips come up and over. You'll need to adjust your right leg and your left leg underneath of you. Hands underneath of shoulders, maybe underneath of blocks. Good. Pigeon pose. No pain, please, especially left knee. That is the main thing I want us to look out for. No left knee pain. Okay, we're good. Very nice. From here, hands can walk forward. Palms flat on the floor. Forearms down to the mat. Remember, these are all just options. No left knee pain. If you start to experience pain, go ahead and come back. So your hips are square, your right leg is long behind you, your left knee is bent. You can be on hands or forearms on the block. You can even lower your forehead down to the mat. And we're here for a few breaths. Breathe. 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 Inhale, let's start to rise. Right knee crawls forward. Support your arms. Scoot your left leg out, tabletop into left leg. Sweet extension. Yes. Bend left knee. Lift left foot high anterior. Left knee in towards your nose posterior. Float it up. Anterior to nose posterior. Back and forth. Knees go wide, big toes touch. That was amazing. Child's pose. Very nice, friends. Let's lift up. Sit back, swing our legs around, and wide-legged forward folds. Okay, another hip flexor strengthener. This one's really good to see, like, where is the strength of our hip flexors? So legs are in the straddle, hands over your right leg, lift up through your heart, and then float your right foot up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hands up, inhale. Exhale, hinge. You might also have hands by your sides, and that's okay. Good. Deep breath in. Big sigh. Okay, let's come up. Hands over to your left. Big, so hands on either side of your left leg. Left ankle flexed. Long spine. Lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Big stretch up. Hands behind sides or hinge forward fold. What the heck was that? I know, I just kind of snuck that one in. We're thinking about posture. We're thinking about strength balances, strength imbalances. If that was really hard for you, then it's possible you have a strength imbalance that your hip flexors could be a little bit stronger. And so 2 exercises, lifting your legs up while seated on the floor in this wide-legged posture, or a straight leg standing on one leg up into the air. That can also help bring in a little bit of balance. Very nice. Go ahead, lean back, grab underneath of your knees. Soles of your feet together, butterfly pose. Spread your toes nice and wide. Lift up and lower. Spine long, hinge forward fold. Really, really nice. Let the weight of your head drop down. Breathe deep. Breathe. Inhale, let's come up. Neck rolls. Full 360. Opposite direction. Very good. Center yourself on your yoga mat, please. Grab your knees. Slow curl back. Ankles can make circles about 5 in each direction. Very good. Hands hug knees in. Option to wrap. Arms grab on opposite wrists. You can rock this a little bit left, right, side to side. Arms to the inside. Go ahead. Grab your feet, please. Happy baby pose. Let a breath go through, a deep breath. It can be vocal, it can be audible. That was a great practice, all dedicated to your posture. Left foot down, right knee hugs in, big squeeze, right knee in towards right shoulder. Left leg long, heel down towards the floor. And then let's twist. Your left hand can guide your right knee all the way down. Your right arm reaches away. And settle in for a few breaths. Very, very good. Let's unwind our twist. Right foot goes down. Can lift your hips up, hug left knee in. Big squeeze left knee, right leg goes long. And then twist second side. Right hand guides left knee over and across. Your left arm can reach away. And a few breaths here. Very nice. Unwind your twist. Left foot down. Readjust your hips. Step your feet wide. Knees dip in towards each other. Arms can go up and overhead. You can tuck your shoulder blades in. Tuck your chin in. And relax here. This is known as constructive rest. Breathe.
deep breath in and a deep breath out. As you're ready, arms go down by your sides, feet step out one at a time. And as you adjust your shape for Shavasana, think about the natural curves. So you can pick up your hips, find that natural curve in your lower back, your upper back presses to the floor, and then your chin tucks into your chest slightly. So the right place in the back of your head where your cervical spine has a natural curve exists also. Arms are out as much as feels good. Palms are up, giving and receiving, welcoming in good posture to your body, offering good posture to the world. And relaxing in this space. I will guide us out when the time comes. For now, feel the healing benefits of a posture-focused practice as you lie still, breathe deep. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Lie still, breathe deep. Rest, restore, relax. Shavasana. Breathe.
Deep breath in. Big sigh, let it go. Movement in your hands and your feet, wiggles in your fingers, twinkles in your toes. Wrists and ankles start to roll. Arms stretch, legs stretch, big stretch, all directions. Oh, wow, that's amazing. It feels good. Let's roll over to our right side or our left side. Use your hands, press yourself up. Find your cushion. Find length in your spine, up through your heart. Chin tucked in slightly. Great posture, great practice. As we bow in honor, let's give it up to ourselves for our own practice and our own posture. And in honor of yoga, the union of us with ourself, with each other, with our higher self, with our earth, with nature, with all beings, past, present, and future. Thank you so much, yogis. Great job today. Namaste.